So, I put on music. Music goes. I can turn off the stream starting soon screen, and we can start. So first off, we have, and it will help to quickly pull up for me. First off, we have axle grease here. Now, something kind of interesting.
Isn't he the Junkicon that you shared on like a post on YouTube?
Yes, that is exactly it. She is the Junkion that I mentioned that is Decepticon aligned, and that I don't know that this color scheme works.
I kind of feel that way. Because the Junkicons in like Transformers movies were like good, basically on the Autobot side, and they were all red. This girl is all purple. Like seems to be like a primary color for like most Decepticons.
I mean, yes. Though, honestly, most Junkions are actually more of a brown or rusty orange than a red. Which would be befitting, basically, a species born of somewhat, well, kind of evolving to live on a trash planet. I'll also note, her head looks like it has nothing post-apocalyptic going on.
Yeah.
So it just looks like a normal head. It ends up kind of how clean the rest of the robot mode in the head is outside of the car does kind of make it feel, I don't know, less post-apocalyptic than it would make sense for it to be.
Yeah. It looks like her feet. Yeah, but the way her red glasses are.
Kind of, yeah. But I think I noted in that as well. The color scheme looks... I was about to say, I think I noted that... I didn't know that she kind of looked like RC, but I was going to note that the color scheme reminds me somewhat of the Shattered Glass Junkions. But again...
Yeah.
But again... yeah. Again, I don't know how that works for a normal Junkion. Considering... though it makes sense considering those are almost like virus clone copies that were other Transformers before being taken over and turned into creations similar to having a similar image to Wreck-Gar so it ends up being, I can see why they end up not necessarily looking just all rusty there. But again, this is supposed to just fit in with like the standard characters, and it just feels kind of too clean, I guess, of a color scheme for a character on a planet of junk in wasteland.
Yeah, as they were able to like sort of get painted, then I guess that would make sense. That did texture, but
this.
I mean, the vehicle mode.
Yeah, here we have the vehicle mode, which I do see elements of. I know some people said it kind of looks a little like a stock car. It also looks a bit like a muscle car, which again leads me to wonder, is this the finalized version of the almost Mad Max Interceptor looking Junkion I had seen and was excited for?
I mean, in all honesty, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's like a hybrid between the Interceptor and like a NASCAR, but
yeah. Yeah, it's not the vehicle. Again, it comes down kind of to color scheme a little bit for me of that and because I would not mind this at all in a more Junkion logical color scheme, but it just again feels overly off. Maybe if it was like a lot splotchier, that would help some, because I know that like they're based off the Mad Max aesthetic, yes? I know that there are some vehicles in Mad Max where they are just all sorts of, where there's just like splotches of paint all over the car. If they were to do that, I could see that better. If it were a little,
Yeah,
splotchier.
because like, like a Punk Planet, you're probably not gonna find
Yeah.
at least not good quality paint place.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the one thing that does kind of worry me if this is the finalized version of if we're going to get it in a more Junkion color. Because if we get it in a more Junkion color, I will have no issue with just going and grabbing it. I probably won't as is. I do like the idea they had. I don't know how well I like the execution.
To each their own.
Yeah.
I would still buy it.
Next up, Beachcomber. Apparently he has almost a kind of rubbery-like wheel.
Yeah, so I wonder if give an option to actually remove like tire part.
I don't know. Vehicle mode. Also, he comes with a parakeet.
Like Shipwreck from G.I. Joe, the sailor guy.
Oh, you know what would have been funny? They didn't do it. They just call it a generic Paradise parakeet. If they had ended up making it like specifically his parakeet and ended up checking if having like a little figure of Shipwreck as well that could interact with this, that could have been funny. That could have probably been funny.
Yeah, it would.
Next up we have Nemesis Leo Prime. Admittedly, his proper name would be Black Leo Convoy. Apparently this is the first toy of him to ever actually get the coloring right. They usually actually reverse it for some reason. So where the silver, where the gray would normally be black, and where the black would normally be gray on all of his toys that he's had. But it is supposed to be the way it is on this figure. Which makes it very interesting. It also made me funny. It made me find it funny that I had taken a look at one of the reviewers' reactions to the figures, and then he called this one boring, and that it should have used what became the masterpiece technically equivalent of this guy. They gave it a whole different name. But it uses the toy the colorization that the toy uses, therefore making it inaccurate, making it funny that he ended up calling it bland, even though it's the same colors. It's just switch what position they're in. I'm not certain how that makes one more or less bland. Okay, we have Lion. We're going to get a Studio Series Brawn.
Yay!
we're going to get, you know, the little core class pink Laserbeak figure that's out.
Yeah.
They're gonna turn it. They're gonna make it into a Bumblebee.
Okay. Question mark.
Yeah, they're just gonna basically turn it into the correct colors because for some reason they released that pink Laserbeak, the pink Laserbeak as Bumblebee first. Not sure why they did that. Not sure why they did that. Yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah, they're gonna take that and put it into normal colors. War for Cybertron Cliff Jumper is coming. I would hope they end up eventually getting the Studio Series Prime figures because I do actually I do really like his Transformers Prime design.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have a figure of that. DevCon, which they noted is actually uses parts of Blur. Somehow. I'm looking at this and I can't tell you how it uses parts of Blur. Maybe defeat some, but yeah, I can't really for certain tell you how exactly it's Blur, and I have 2 versions of Blur mold. Yeah, it turns into this spaceship thingy. It's kind of mad. Apparently it's accurate to something or other. I don't know why. Because I don't recall seeing him transform in the original show.
Yeah, I think we ever see him transform in the show.
Yeah, but they seem to imply it is accurate to something or other, where he apparently transformed. Again, I don't know what that would be, though.
Yeah.
Dirge, we're getting Dirge released.
It's about time.
So I can collect him and be down to just Ramjet that I am retroactively tracking down. Armada Megatron. Apparently they ended up. Apparently people have noticed things that seem to imply to them that there might be some compatibility with something coming up. Whether that's Tidal Wave, whether it's Minicons, I don't know. But apparently there's something that it might actually interact with. Fall of Cybertron, Megatron. Ah yes, the new Titan. They showed the prototype that they had on hand. Any guesses as to what the Titan turns into?
From the looks of it, he looks like he could Cybertronian ship.
Yes, she does turn into a Cybertronian ship. You can kind of see it in this picture.
Oh, yeah.
The Titan? She is the Nemesis. To go
Wait.
to Arc.
Like, makes sense. They know that the Arc transforms, at least in the War for Cybertron show.
Yeah, in the show he does transform. Yeah, they're gonna turn. Their next Titan is making the Nemesis into a Titan. Of which
I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I will say the Arc did not look that great to me.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree.
The Nemesis actually looks kind of good, though. The Nemesis actually looks a lot more complete.
Yeah.
So I might end up trying to track this down. Though it would be funny because then there would be no Arc figure. Yeah, I might try and track this down. Armada Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
He has his robot mode, his truck mode, and his combined with his trailer mode. Rise of the Beasts Optimus will be coming in Studio Series. Apparently, specifically, at the moment, they have stated he will come to Studio Series, but as a Buzzworthy Bumblebee Target exclusive. So I don't know if that means he's going to get a standard release as well. But yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing not right away. Yeah. I mean, it might move on to like other store, Walmart, even like online store.
Yeah, it probably will not be right away. I will note, I think most cases where they have a Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series figure, it does show up in the standard Studio Series line. Everywhere else, it does kind of annoy me still though that there are things like that where they will end up making the Studio Series figures exclusives, because Leadfoot, Dark of the Moon Leadfoot, because he has Target branding, was Target exclusive, and then I never saw him. And I have the other two Dark of the Moon Wreckers. I'm annoyed I can't find him, except on eBay for rather large prices.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't expect nothing else from eBay.
And sometimes you can. Sometimes you can get lucky, but it does depend.
Yeah, but luck is always in your favor.
Yeah. Rise of the Beasts Rhinox.
Kind of looks like an armadillo.
He kind of does with the plated armor.
Yeah, I don't like how it's like all separated. Like it's been like separate pieces. Like, I understand it's like for the sake of the transformation, but like
yeah, but that's also the other thing with these space bridge things that they do. This is just like control art of the characters. It's not even like of a figure.
Yeah.
So it is a matter of that's just how he will end up looking. So why is it like that for the film? Why don't they have like some sort of thing, especially the back legs there? Look at those. Those aren't even trying to hide. They're robotic.
I mean, like, the front legs have, like, some covering. Yeah, but, like, the back legs are, like, completely exposed.
Yeah. Scar. One of the core class Dinobots.
Yeah.
Also, interesting note with him. The designers noted that people want to see him at actual leader scale, so I think they might be looking into trying to do that.
So you're saying that they're planning on like supersizing him?
Well, they're not gonna just take what they have and scale it directly up, but I think they are looking into making him from the ground up a figure in scale with like the leader Grimlock and such.
Oh.
Though probably as part of Studio Series somehow they'd have to figure a way to explain how come he shows up there. Because at the moment it's supposed to be films and the Fall of Cybertron games, not comics. Then we have the core class Swoop.
Looks nice.
Yeah. He looks a little squished in pterodactyl mode.
It's like trying to put his legs behind his head.
He kind of does look like that. Yeah. Then we have Ariel and Dion. And then their vehicle modes. I will note, still a little weird for the Prime RC mold. But,
I mean, most female-led Transformers.
Yeah. So, at the same time, in this case, that whole mold just has the kind of issue of, it feels like the torso is just too broad.
Yeah.
Too wide, in particular. Yeah, they did do changes, it seems, to try and make her seem a little more Cybertronian in nature, and then do some stuff to the cup mold for Dion. Oh, that is the end of what I have.
Oh, I thought there was more.
Apparently not.
Hold on.
We might have just got through things quickly this time. Let's see. We hit the Wardon 2-pack. We hit Swoop. We hit Scar. We hit Beachcomber. We hit DevCon.
Have we hit the Commander Armada Optimus Prime?
Yep.
Oh wait, no. Okay.
That was this.
Right, I just remembered. Yeah, we covered everything. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that was just a little quick. I guess, is there anything else that we would like to quickly talk about before?
Let's go over like
least and best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Favorite so far.
Okay.
Favorite has to be like the Titan Nemesis ship.
Yeah.
Because I like how it reminds me of like the Unicron toy I used to have as a kid.
I'll look through again. I'm going to quickly point out. I am going to ban from favorite Dirge, because he is technically a figure that already exists and would automatically take the placement of favorite for me. So I'm gonna quickly review through these. Seems like of the things that we have, I might have to agree with you with the Nemesis, because it actually does look interesting and actually finished instead of the arc's seemingly partially finished state.
It actually looks cleaner, right?
Yeah.
In terms of robot mode, anyways.
Yeah. So I guess least favorite.
Least favorite.
Least favorite for me is very obvious. It's this. Because I don't know what to think of it with it. Yeah. I don't know what to think of it with it. It feels all sorts of not fitting, and that comes from the person who... And I like the Junkions a lot, and the concept of the Junkions a lot, which is probably why it ends up making me question, why does this feel like it doesn't fit so much?
Now, for me, least favorite, I would have said the Rhinox figure, but the fact that they haven't yet released an official figure, I'm not gonna do that. So,
Okay.
would like to see what they do, but least favorite. I don't know. Like, go through the entire list and see if there's like one I didn't like. No. Yeah, I don't think I have like a least favorite from this list,
Huh. Okay.
surprisingly enough. So of course it doesn't help that like most of these are like unreleased figures.
I think
Yeah.
like half of them, yeah.
Yeah, so kind of makes it hard to like pick which one is like the worst of them all.
Yeah.
I mean, for you it's easy. It's like the Junkion from the beginning.
Yeah,
Still.
for me, it is easy because it ends up hitting a number of aspects of that I like about the Junkions and kind of not fitting in with those. So it just feels off in general, so I don't know what to think of it. Yeah. Meanwhile, I mean, Beachcomber is just Beachcomber. Dark Leo Convoy is just Dark Leo Convoy. Ron is not properly revealed. This is just going to become Bumblebee. This is not shown. DevCon, no one's going to put him in vehicle mode. They're just going to always have him, most likely, in robot mode.
Unless they doing something else with them.
Yeah. Dirge is Dirge.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dirge.
While Armada is not my favorite style of Transformer design, I also can't say that they didn't do them that they didn't do them well, because they did them well.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Nemesis actually looks like an interesting Titan, unlike the Arc. Let's see. The core class Dinobots, while I'm not gonna grab them, they look fine. And then these two, how often do you get figures of Dion and Ariel, and neither looks terrible. In fact, Dion looks very accurate, with Ariel just being a little weirder.
Yeah. She looks a bit bulky.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be my least favorite, like, Ariel.
That makes sense.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna go for least favorite, maybe go for the lady. I mean, I don't have a problem with like muscled women, but like muscled Cybertronian woman, just isn't.
I would say it depends on kind of the design, because in this case, I do feel like it is partly muscle because it is too kind of just broad for it.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Instead of seemingly being muscled just in general. Honestly, it kind of looks somewhat like how all of the War for Cybertron characters kind of just look like they have skipped leg day. I mean, you can't tell me I'm wrong with that. These guys all look like they just skipped leg day. Megatron here, if I go back over to Cliff Jumper looks like he skipped leg day. It was just part of the design for them, I guess. Yeah. I will say, I do find it very funny that they gave Beachcomber a parakeet, and it is interesting that it took so long to get a character to have actual show accurate colorization.
Yeah.
Especially since it is a character that is as simple as recoloring a different character. It's not like it's a difficult thing for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see, what else could we point out quickly? I guess anything that we would let. Is there anything in particular that we'd like to try and see in the next coming waves of stuff? Like, I'm pretty sure that it's somewhat hinted that Ramjet is coming. They just didn't flat out state it.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, during the live stream they did state we split up, but they didn't state that they have Ramjet coming. The two of them. Really, that is not necessarily saying that he is, but the term split up usually means you have the two of them. You can kind of assume what's going to happen. In this case. Yeah. I guess what I will say is I hope that they will finally get to Generation 2 Starscream, Generation 2 Blackout, and the jungle prototype using Starscream's version of the Secret Mold from Generation 2. I hope they get around to that.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at this point, they have Generation 2 Ramjet, they did Generation 2 Sandstorm, and they did the Navy-based version prototype that there was, and they gave him a whole new name. So I guess what I hope they get around to would be those. Though admittedly, I don't expect any of those would be in like this standard main line. Those would probably go better under, well, minus Generation 2 Starscream. He might show up somewhere in the main line. The two unreleased ones of Blackout and that jungle-based colorization, that especially the jungle-based one, might end up working in like the that Walmart Generation 2 figure subline they ended up doing.
Most likely.
Yeah. If I were to maybe say someone, let's see if I can think of. Oh no, I know who I think of that would make sense for a timely release. Rise of the Beast Stratosphere. I want to know when we're getting a figure of him.
Yeah.
Anyone on your mind that you'd like to keep an eye, that you'd like to see them reveal with like their next upcoming waves and such?
Can't really think of one.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see if this figure will grow on me and I end up grabbing it, or if it doesn't. And I just have to wait for a standard Junkion color scheme.
I mean, you never know. It might grow on you in the future. I mean, you might be walking through Walmart, like, I have every single one of them except for this one, so I'll just buy that one because, you know.
I mean, that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened yet with Prime RC, because that's still sitting at the Walmart over here, and that still hasn't happened. And I am down to just, if I grab something, it's down to just skids or cup, pretty much. But I don't think even then would I end up grabbing Prime RC. So I don't know about just exactly that circumstance. It would probably just have to grow over time of me ending up seeing the character and eventually seeing if I can find some way to understand how come it ends up kind of going against some of the seemingly design principles of a Junkion. Again, from what I understand, because again, they kind of typically have this almost rusty, dull brown, some red, Mad Max aesthetic, and not effectively just completely pristine heads or anything like that.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is that somehow the Decepticons came across like a freshly effectively born Junkion or something like that before anything could actually like happen. I think that's the only thing that I can think of that could lead to. Sure, there's still some of that Junkion aesthetic in vehicle mode, but why the head is pristine and why she ends up having such a vastly different color scheme. Right, probably out of the characters here, probably would be the last one of them if I were to end up grabbing the non-Armada figures, because I do not have a collection of Armada. I have a collection of Generation 1, which most of this admittedly is. Somewhat the G1 animes, and I do have a collection of the Studio Series film figures. But yeah, it would definitely be like, it would kind of most likely be one of those cases of, well, I've grabbed Beachcomber, I've grabbed Dark Leo Convoy, I've grabbed DevCon, I've grabbed Dirge, who would be my immediate priority. I would probably have to also have the Titan at that point. Or maybe not. Admittedly, Titans are expensive. That would be probably the one thing I might not have before that happens. But yeah, it would probably be the last one of that wave that I would end up going for if it ends up growing on me.
Okay.
Yeah. That does also bring to mind, that also assumes there isn't like also stuff from like a previous wave, an upcoming wave of Studio Series past this also being there alongside this wave of Studio Series. There is other stuff like that could also show up and get in the way of that. But yeah. I guess, is there anything else at the moment that we can think of to talk about for this?
I mean, not really. Yeah, I think we covered about everything.
Probably have. Yeah, the only other thing I can kind of think of is that, so, I don't know how, I don't think I ended up actually getting a picture of it. There is like a battle mask mode for for the Titan, and it also has mini seekers actually, I think, attached to and can come off of the arms. I don't think you can see it in either of in any of the photos I grabbed of it though. But yeah. So I guess that will be the end of this stream then.
Okay then.
So I will do my normal send off. See you guys later.
Yep.